Hello friends. So what we're going to do today is we are going to learn how to shade. Okay, so for that, these are the things that you need. You need a paper, a ruler if you have. I don't have the ruler, so I'm using this. Then you need pencil. Okay, if you usually use a mechanical pencil, don't use a mechanical pencil, use a regular pencil. The reason is we need a blunt point. This itself is not blunt. We'll need to make it blunt, more like this. Can you see it's more rounded? So that's the reason why we need to use normal pencil, not a mechanical pencil. Okay, so these are the things that you need. And then before we get into the lesson, let me quickly tell you guys what shading is. So to make your drawing come to life, artists use something called shading, especially with pencil drawing. So shading is very much needed to show depth in your work. You can add a dimension, like you can make your picture look more 3D by adding shade. Okay, so to know more about shading, first thing you need to know is value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So you may be thinking, we are not using colors today, then why is Mrs. J talking about value then? So we don't have to. So pencil also has a color, right? Pencil lead, it is black. So the value of the pencil is like how light and how dark you can make. Okay, so in shading we use darker values and then we combine it with our lighter values, and then we make the picture more realistic. Okay, so these are the things that you need to. Why did I take the whiteboard? Okay, let me show you the things that you need to remember when you're shading. So if here I have a picture showing different different areas on a ball. Okay, so there is a name for all these things. So suppose this is a ball and the light source is over here. I have drawn a sun over here to show the light source. Okay, so all this area where the light directly falls, it's called the direct light area, right? And then there is on the opposite side this area that has a shadow that the object is casting. This is the object. This object is casting a shadow here. It always falls on the opposite side. Okay, that is called the cast shadow. And then there is this this is light and this is the cast shadow, and over here the shadow on the object. Okay, this is called the co-shadow, the shadow on the object where you don't see any light. This is the co-shadow. Here it's called it can be called half tone also. Here it is where the it's like where the light and the shadow area meet. Okay, and then you will be also be able to see a reflected light. Can you see the reflected light over here? Okay, reflected light area. So this object is suppose is on a white area. Suppose it's on a white table. Okay, it is sitting there and the light is falling, and then what happens is light also falls on this over here. Okay, so the light is reflected from here and then it goes and hits here. That's why it is called the reflected light area. So when you're drawing an object, whatever object you are drawing, you should be showing an area where the light directly hit. You should be showing an area where it is the darkest on the object. Okay, suppose you are drawing a ball, then this is the area where it is darkest on the ball, and you should be able to show a cast shadow, a shadow that the object is showing on the part that it is sitting, right? If it is on the table, the shadow that it makes. So that is called the cast shadow. So you should show that. And if you're able to show these things using like using a pencil, by using different values, then you will be able to show the viewer a more realistic 3D shaped object. Okay, so I have a picture of, like, this was taken by a photographer to show where the shadow will fall depending on where the light is. So if the light is on this side, the shadow would be on the opposite side. On this one, can you see the, let me take my pencil and point it to that. This is the area where the direct light is falling. On the direct light area, there should be highlight area. So that can be seen really well on this one. Can you see the highlight area here and here? So here is the direct light is falling on this side, but the highlight area is here, okay, on this one over here. So here it's not that clear because this picture is not that clear. Maybe it is over here, okay, the highlight. Now, where is the shadow? The core shadow. The core shadow is over here. Can you see the core shadow? The darkest part on the egg is over here. And this is the cast shadow. Cast is C-A-S-T, cast shadow. The cast shadow is made by the object. It is on the opposite side of the light source. So the light is over here, the shadow is on this side. On this one, the light is over here, the shadow is on the opposite side over here. Here, the light is here, the shadow is over here. And you can see the darkest part, the shadow, core shadow on the egg here. And then what else do we need to keep in mind? We need to find a reflected light. Can you see the reflected light over here from the table here, a white spot, right? And on this, which one here? Here you can see the reflected light really well. Can you see? Here also you can see the reflected light. Can you see the reflected light? So when you're drawing a picture, if you can incorporate all these things, the reflected light, a core shadow area, then you blend the direct light area and the shadow area, and it can be called a halftone area. And then if you can show a high, like a reflected, not reflected area, like what is it called, the highlight, then you will be able to make your picture look more realistic. So you guys know what you need to incorporate, right? So next, what we're going to do is, I didn't have to use this whiteboard today. Let me put this away. We are going to draw a egg. So, before that, let's practice using, so for this, you need to practice using your pencil, using different pressure. There is different shading techniques used. We are going to use a blending technique, and for that, we need to make different values also, right? Different, like dark, very dark. You need to make very dark shades and then lighter shades and things like that. So let's practice making some different shades. So you're going to take a scrap paper and maybe draw a long rectangle and then divide that into some sections like that. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the pencil. If it is a blunt pencil, not a sharp one like this, it is well and good. I'm going to take my blunt pencil. And then usually when we are drawing, we hold the pencil this way, like this, right? But when you are blending or shading, the best way to hold the pencil is like this. So the end of the pencil should be inwards like that. And then you are going to shade with the side of the pencil. So see what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the lightest shade that I can make in the first section. I'm going to blend as much as I can. So I think this is a good shade. I'm going to make a lighter one next to it. So I'm going to practice making different shades with the same pencil. I'm not using multiple pencils. Usually you can get different pencils like HB, 2HB, 4HB and things like that, depending on the color of the lead. But you just need one pencil and you can make different shades with that. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker than this. So I'm going to put a little bit more. I added one more layer to that. I'm going to make it a lighter one, the next one, lighter than the second one. And the last one really light. So maybe this one a little bit more. Can you see how we came like from darker to lighter? So once you practice making these different shades with the pencil, you have practiced that, we can go ahead, draw an object, and then we can start trying adding these things that we learned, like cast shadow, direct light plays, a foreshadow area, reflected light area, and all that. So what we are going to do is we are going to take an egg. Okay, I can't put the egg in one. You won't be able to see the shadow on this egg because it is giving out like different shadows. I don't know whether you can see that on my egg. The reason is this egg has so many different light sources. I have like 5. My chandelier, I'm sitting on the chandelier, and then it has like 5 lights about in that. So the lights are giving out different shadows. So that won't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the egg next to me. I'm just going to draw the shape of the egg, but I'm going to add all these things that needs to be done just from my imagination. I'm going to pick a light source and then do the rest. Okay, so you can also do the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first draw the egg. Okay, so the egg, maybe I'll place the paper in the landscape style this time, and then I'm going to draw an egg. So the egg is like a football, but it is like more rounded football. It's like more pointy on one side and more rounded on the other. So draw lightly. I don't know whether you can see me draw this because it's super light. Can you guys see the, I will darken this. When you're drawing realistic things, you need to draw lightly. Okay, so let me erase this off, and then I think I'm going to place this egg a little bit above so there is enough space for the cast shadow. Okay, so I'm going to draw the egg right in the middle of the paper so there is enough space for the cast shadow and rest of the stuff. So I have an egg on my paper. Can you see? It should be light, but for you guys to see better, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it darker. Okay, don't darken your egg because realistic things don't have an outline like this. So I'm just making it dark so you guys can see the egg well. So in this technique, you are all the lines that you're making other than shading should be done very lightly. Okay, so hopefully this looks like an egg. Maybe I should make it more rounded here. Okay. I'm not happy with my egg. And this eraser is not a good one. Where is my good eraser? I don't know where I place all my supplies. Maybe I should have asked my daughter to give me her eraser. No time. Okay, so I have this egg. I'm going to stop with this egg. I'm happy for now. So the egg is done. So now next thing I need to do is I need to find a source of light. Where should I place the source of light? Should the light be on this side or this side? I'm going to choose the light on this side. It doesn't matter where you have put the light source. Okay, if it is this, only thing is if you choose the light source, your light area, the direct light area should be in that side. So because it's on this side, my direct light source should be on this side. Okay, and the shadow should be over here. So to make the shadow, I'm going to take this thing. I'm going to put it like that. Okay. So I'm going to start from the sun and then I'm going to draw a line touching the egg and going all the way down to the paper. Can you see? So these lines should be made lightly. This is just to show you guys how it is done. Okay. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to make a cast shadow. So the cast shadow starts from this point where this line comes. And then it will go over till here. So I have the cast shadow thing. Maybe I can color it now. The part that is directly under the egg would be really dark, right? So I'm just going to make it dark. And as it goes away, it will become lighter. I will come back to this and then I will be shading again on top. But now I'm just laying down like base layer. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do next is, this is the place where the shadows, the part where this line meets on the egg is where I'm going to make a line from here and here it is here. So that is where the shadow will start. This touches here first, right? Where this line touches first, from there, and this here, from behind that point is where the shadow should be. Okay, so I'm going to draw a light line. Okay, and then in between this and this is where it will be really dark. Okay, that is the shadow core. Remember? So this is the line. So this light touches here. So we drew this line like that. And so here below that, from here to here should be really dark. So I'm going to leave this much space to be light. And from here, this point is going to be really dark. Okay, so I'm going to color that part really dark. I'm going to turn this around and then. So that is the shadow, core shadow area. So I'm going to color the core shadow area really dark because that is where no light reaches. Okay. Now below that I'm like lightly, I'm going to go lighter. So because it's a round thing, egg is round, right? If it is like, if I'm drawing something like this, then you can shade one area really dark, and then the other area you can make it light to show like an edge. But this is a round thing, so we should gradually change the color or the shade. So for that reason, I'm going to go lightly, like blend in. You need to blend in lightly. Can you see how I'm blending in? I'm not putting as much pressure as I put here, but I'm lightly blending in. Okay, so the same thing here, I'm going to color lightly because that is the form shadow area. So I'm going to do it lightly, but I need to blend that area also. It should not be a sudden change from one shade to the next, because it is not a cube or so. Soft changes, blend in. So what sometimes people do is you can blend the colors really well. If you take a paper towel or something, a piece of paper, fold it, and then you can blend it. See? Like that. So the excess lead will come off like that. Okay. Now what we need to do is this area, we are going to make it like shade it lightly. This is the direct light area, so I'm going to do this lightly. But again, as I said, we should not have a sudden change of this thing. So I'm just going to gradually turn this really light. I'm going back again here and making it a little bit more darker, because after blending in, it has become really. So at this point, you need a really nice eraser. I'm going to erase, make my sides, erase off those harsh lines that I made so that you guys can see. Okay, I said in the beginning, the line should not be really dark, right? The outside lines, so I'm going to erase that. It should be soft. Now I'm going to erase off these, the sun and all these things, because we don't need those things. I'm just going to go around it like that. I would have loved a nice eraser right now. So erase off all these pencil lines right now. And then we are not done. We need to add the reflected light on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the eraser and then see what I'm just taking off the color from the bottom, and then here somewhere I'm going to add a highlight. Then what else needs to, I need to color the spot, the cast shadow a little bit more. Because the shadow will be really dark, right? So I'm going to, in the beginning we didn't do that because we were planning to come back and then finish that part later, right? So as you go towards the edge, it can be lighter. Okay. And here, because I had made that line a little bit to show you guys, I'm going to erase that line lightly. I need to blend in all these lines. Let me use this eraser. I'm going to do the final touch work, so I'm going to make the lines really light around this. Okay, now on the bottom the lines will be a little bit more darker because of the shadow. Hope you guys can see the highlight really well. I'm adding up one more layer so that you guys can see the highlight a little bit more better. I'm going to darken a little. The more the shades that you add to it, your picture will look more realistic. That's what they say. This cast shadow area, I'm going to make it really dark. Let me go back to this one and then blend it a little bit more. Wherever you can see that harsh line, you're going to go over with the paper towel, okay? But don't go over everything. We need that reflected light, the highlight, okay? So maybe the reflected light can be a little bit more less than this one. I'm going to erase after you use the paper towel. Sometimes the lead can get spread out. So you will use, when you're done with everything, you will use the eraser and then go one more time. To give it a nice clean edge, okay? I chose this eraser thinking because it has like sharp corners. I'll be able to erase this really well. But this one is not that good. So try not to lift off the Let me see if I can make the highlight a little bit more visible. So when you're done, what you need to do is check for, if you have a better eraser, you should erase better than this, okay? My eraser is not doing a good job. Okay, I'm never, oh, I erased some part of my egg also. Okay, so I'm going to stop with this, but before I stop with my shading, what I need to do is I need to check whether I have the direct light area, which is light. Okay, if you want, you can leave it just white, but then you won't be able to show the highlight. So that's the reason why we made it, we shaded it lightly there. So I have the direct light area. Yes, that is a tick. Then you need to check whether you have a shadow core shadow area, which is really dark. Do I have that? Yes, I do have a core shadow area. I have that. Then the next thing you need to check is, this is a core shadow area. Do you have a form shadow? That is a shadow between the direct light and the core shadow area. I do have that. It is like darker than this, right? But lighter than this. I have that too. Then check whether, maybe I can make it a little bit better. Yeah. Check whether you have a reflected light on the bottom of the egg. Here, I do have that. And do you have a cast shadow? Yes, I do have a cast shadow. On the bottom of the cast shadow, this area that is directly under the egg should be really dark. And then as you go, check that you have that part really dark, and as you go towards the edge of your cast shadow, it can get lighter. So if you have all those things on your egg, or if you are drawing a ball, if you have it on the ball, then you are ready. You have finished your project. If not, I'm going to quickly make this part a little bit more darker because I'm not really happy with this part, the core shadow area. So I'm going to make it, I think when I blended with the, what is it called, the tissue, it became even lighter. Maybe this part should be a little bit more darker than the direct light area. Okay, let me see if I blend it now, will it work? This is the moment of truth. This area I'm going to make it really light, the direct light area. I'm going to press really hard on this area. Okay. Okay. Let me erase that highlight area one more time to show the highlight. I think it is better now, right? So another thing you can do is like curve the shading in the direction of the curve of the object. So instead of drawing it straight like this, can you see the curve that I made? It's like this, right? It's a curved shading. So I'm going to make this core shadow area a little bit more darker. And it is again curved. If you see the shadow area between the direct light and the shadow area, the form shadow area. Can you see it is also curved like that? So that will also help in showing the making it look rounded instead of looking like okay, I think I'm done with my egg. It has all the things: direct light, form shadow, core shadow, reflected light, cast shadow, and then a highlight, right? So till we meet next time, bye bye.